jitters and I don't want to stutter all around, so I'm just gonna pop squat. Ugh. How y'all doing? It's good to be back in Missoula. I was part of the illustrious crew that went off to Canada to perform this weekend. No, it wasn't good. I did not endear myself to the Canadians. So we were there for a comedy competition. The very first thing I said was like, so I don't know if you know this, but a lot of us Americans have a stereotype that you're all really nice and polite. And they booed me immediately, which totally fucking proves that stereotype wrong. So that was a rough start. And then I went on the rest of my act, and I'll tell you the first joke that I told them. And it was that I'm really intimidated because Canada actually produces like a huge amount of top quality comedians. And I was wondering why this is, and I actually had a Canadian literature professor who had a theory about that. And I'm sorry, that joke doesn't have an ending. Usually everyone bursts out as soon as I say Canadian literature. More booing. So I didn't do so well in the competition, just to make sure that's clear. So fuck Canada. America forever! But Canada wasn't all bad, mostly just because of their famous dish, poutine. Yeah, I don't know how many of you know what poutine is. I'll go ahead and break it down for you. It is French fries covered in cheese curds, and then on top of the cheese curds is a layer of gravy. And so the gravy melts the cheese curds onto the French fries, and it is like heaven. Like, that's the only time like I've had like something. I don't know. I came several times. That's all that matters. And but it actually helped me get across the border because getting into Canada, fucking Border Patrol hated me. Because they take us into the room to ask us if we've ever committed any crimes and other really rote questions. But I have really bad anxiety problems, and so I have a hard time looking people in the eyes. It makes me super uncomfortable. And the Border Patrol guy perceived this as me being really shifty and shady and evasive. And he's like, what are you doing here? Like, what's your job? What are you doing in the States? What are you here for? You ever committed any crimes? And I have to like, no, I don't know. This is all like, why aren't you looking at me? I'm like, how much money do you have? What are you doing in the country? And I broke down. I'm like, listen, Jesus, I'm here for a comedy festival. I'm here for two main reasons, though, and that's poutine and poontang. And I want both of them thickly covered in gravy. But I only want cheese curds in the first. Like, you can go. I understand you. You can go. Yeah, that's funny. Cheesy vaginas. I knew that one would be a hit. But another weird thing about poutine, everyone eats it. Like there was this place close to our hotel that was open till like 3:30 in the morning. And Calgary has like a lot of really beautiful women. It was crazy, it's like everywhere, super hot ladies. But you also see them all at the poutine, eating this incredibly unhealthy food. It didn't add up to me. Until the day after I ate the poutine and shit every bit of it back out again. This like awful, terrible lava volcano ass paste. And the craziest thing about it is you're eating like potatoes, cheese curds, and gravy, and when it comes out, you're pooping out exactly what you eat back in. It looks exactly the same. The fries reconstitute themselves inside of my body, and then it was covered in this creamy, thick brown mess. And it was delicious. I'm gonna ask my therapist about these pills I'm taking and what they're doing to my body, but it was totally worth it. But speaking of food and asses, another one of the fellow comedians introduced me to the concept of a butt taco. I'm glad none of you reacted. That means you don't know what it is, so you're probably not going to hell for that at least. Apparently it's a thing frat boys do to each other when they're sleeping, where you're lying on, if you wake up and you're passed out and you're lying on your stomach, you fill your fucking ass crack with like refried beans and meat and sour cream guacamole. And it's this really funny prank, but as far as I can tell, it's like the most desperate ploy to eat a man's asshole that I've ever heard of. And I can't believe it's a real thing. And so I invented one of my own, which I like to call the chili cheese dong, where you have a sleeping friend and you wrap his penis underneath in a hot dog bun and then cover it in chili and you try to eat the whole thing before he comes in your mouth. So My favorite, however, is when you see your friend sleeping and you get behind him and you cuddle up to him and you just lean in really close and you wrap your arms around him and you smell his hair and you curl your fingers in them and you just tell him how beautiful he is and how much you love him and you try to like slowly slip inside of him. And then as soon as he wakes up, you go, "No homo!" And then you run into the shower and cry until the water turns cold. That's a good trick. Anyway, I can't believe that was already 5 minutes. That's me, Nick Hyde. Good night.